Good morning and welcome to National Football Hangover Day. It is official that many people will not show up at work today. There might be nobody showing up to the huddle, who knows, but we can always count on Lori to be here. Mark is on daddy duty, so Jake is sitting in the seat. Jake, man, you and I been seeing a lot of each other.
I know, yeah. I see way too much of you. You know, I think we got to the point we were traveling last week. We got back, and I didn't want to see your face for a few days. So I got away from you this weekend, but it was good. A great lunch yesterday with the baby. Great weekend, great week celebrating my birthday. Thank you to everybody for the birthday wishes. It was a magical 25th. So excited to have great content today. Got to be here with Lori, which I never get the opportunity to do. So it's exciting.
I know one person that's not showing up today.
What's that?
That's Matt DiGregorio, who was at the Super Bowl. He's not showing up today.
He's not
That's
showing
true.
up. It's a shame for all the Eagles fans. We'll get into a little bit of that. Lori, you had a great weekend. So you and Mike were all dressed up in your.
Oh yeah.
Can we see a picture of that?
Yeah, we went to the Nova Southeastern University Celebration of Excellence, where they honored Ronnie and Ali Bergeron, which was very, very nice. It was good to see everybody, be out in the community. The dressing up thing, I could do without that these days. It's like, oh, can't I just go in my Gucci sneakers and jeans? Like, really?
You look great.
That should be considered dressing up? Anything with Gucci in it
Right?
should be. It's like Ferragamo, like lace ups, like those passes, like dress shoes, and
we could do a whole show on what traveled all last week and saw more Nikes than I've ever. I mean, every guys.
It has become I think it's become the new popular entrepreneur vibe. You know, of the jacket and the Nikes. So,
but even the women.
I will say though, I said to a few people "Oh, nice shoes," and they looked down and they were like, "Oh, my wife got them for me. Are they nice?" Had no clue what. I swear, I was like, "Oh, okay, so you're just copying style," but I like it. To each their own and explore and find yourself.
All the young women in our office, dresses and sneakers.
Yeah, crazy.
My girlfriend showed up. We went to Calouse yesterday for lunch with some friends. She showed up with those sneakers. I don't even know the name, but they have the star on them. They're like $1,000.
Golden Goose.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like $1,000. I paid $1,000.
They're like dirty too. They're like roughed up so that they look like they've been worn.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, you could go on and on. I mean, people pay more for ripped jeans, so go figure. But there's lots to talk about. The game itself, which we'll get into a little bit. Halftime, did you love it? Did you hate it? Seemed like a lot of people didn't really dig it. But let's get into it. Let's wake this thing up. Shay, good to be back in the seat. Let's go. I just want to start out by this. Shay, can you please show me the picture of me and my family yesterday with Jake? What an amazing, amazing lunch. Jules is just growing up like a weed. It's so much fun. It was great to be together. We will all be together, including Shay and his.
I was about to say the babies of On the Ball will meet each other for the first time.
The babies of On the Ball will meet next week at Andy's Pasta Dinner. So, we've been a supporter of that forever. This will be amazing because it is all Nudelberg and Shay. It's should be really, really cool. What an amazing day. Really loved it. Then we all separated, went back to watch the game. So a couple of things about the game I just want to talk about. It looked like they were ice skating. They was just slipping all over the field. You know, they said that they've been preparing.
For those of you who don't know, they played football on real grass last night. The majority of the NFL is going to synthetic turf, which is also leading to a higher rate of torn ACLs, torn ligaments. And so there is an ongoing battle between the NFL and the Players Association about the surface that they're playing on. Well, last night they tried new grass. And if you don't know, in Arizona, they actually grow it outside and then roll it into the stadium. It was a 2-year process, this new grass, and it completely flopped, and everybody slipped and slided around for the entire night.
I mean,
the kicker looked like he twisted his ankle on that kick. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Not only that, 80% of the field was painted. So
which at the end of the game, like my heart was bounding that guy wouldn't slip.
I know.
You know, you don't live those things down. So it was a great game. There were lots of fun stuff. A quick commentary on commercials. I was underwhelmed. Jake and I have a theory on why. Lori, commercials?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I spent the early part of my career in advertising, right, with Ogilvy and Mather. And back then, they were spending millions of dollars on Super Bowl. I wasn't totally that impressed this year. I actually think I don't know, maybe there were 2 or 3 that really I thought I could say were cute or I thought were okay. Like I thought Bradley Cooper and his mom were really funny, especially at the end when he says, yeah, Mom, I've been nominated sometimes, but you never won, right? So I love that. Ben and Jen, of course, you got to go with. The rest of them, they didn't move me.
Jake?
I think there's this, and I know you guys talked about it last week, but de-influencing, I think there's a move towards brand building and associating people with the brands rather than celebrities, rather than their products. And it seems like it almost reverted last night back to silly old ideas, paying a bunch of people to be in their commercials. Like, what was it? Bradley Cooper was in the T-Mobile commercial, and I don't know what the hell he was doing there or what they were even talking about. Like so it seems like they're reverting. And I think it echoes our message. The more personal you are, the more you associate your brand with yourself and your company with yourself, I think the better it is. So.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Jamie Tribble talks about Serena. Serena recounted the famous speech that was in the football movie with Al Pacino. And I thought it was a flunk, man, a total, like you took a great speech, didn't give it any emotion. It was out of place. It was like, so I felt like there was a lot of copying stuff, you know, like who's the fashion guy? Ben Stiller plays that.
The Zoolander.
Zoolander. Right? Like, come on, man, you know, so I did like the Dunkin' Donuts was my favorite. And here's why. And you may not know this. Dunkin' Donuts' first store was in Boston, and that's where Ben Affleck is from, Boston. So there was that whole Boston thing that seemed to make sense to me.
And I don't know if I'm wrong, but there was not a Burger King commercial, correct? I don't think I missed. There was no Burger King, no fast food, or crypto. I know, but I still sang the Burger King song last night. Whopper was said multiple times last night. So I still think they still take the cake for the yearly marketing plan. But look, they're creative. They didn't go recycle an old song or do something that everyone else had done. They tried something, and now I can't stop talking about Burger King. So
By the way, I know we're not really going to get into the game, but I have to give my JA's Casey Delapena just a shout out for being such a gentleman, right? And a good sport, and saying no game comes down to one play. Right, just because his team, his favorite team that he lives and breathes, did not win, he took the high road.
I like you say that. And there's one thing that I know you say a lot, Dad. You know, but it was like the one deal that I almost had, or if that didn't happen, I would have been great. If you rewind and let's break down the game, they're up 14-7 and they fumble and it goes back for a touchdown. That's on them. That's not on anybody else. You're then up 10 and you come out flat in the second half and allow the Chiefs to come right back down and score 18 unanswered points. So there are a lot of things that you can look at came down to one play on a ref, and it's terrible that they allowed it to go that way and it happened. But look at yourself before you look at the external factors that decided the game. There were a lot of plays that could have gone different.
I mean, I think if they didn't call it, and you're a KC fan, you're screaming and yelling,
Right?
And he got yelled, and he could have. You
It
know,
sucks.
the fact of the matter is, you got to witness the best quarterback ever, in my opinion. That guy is just completely playing on another level.
Just because one player played super well doesn't mean another one didn't play super well. Jalen Hurts was equally as amazing. I think both teams gave us an absolute show, usually in big moments. And I talked about it in my post yesterday, the nervous versus excited. Those guys were excited to play football last night. There was no nerves. They were excited. They came out. They executed their plan. It was 7-7, 14-14, 35-35. That's all you ask for them. They're human beings. They show up. They prepared. They did their job for us, and uber thankful for a great football.
It was a super entertaining night of football. I mean, you know, I will tell you this. The quality of content leading up to it was complete horseshit. There was so much filler and so much crap that they were filling before the game. You know, like I could not wait till 6:30 came, and then 6:30 turned out to be 6:45 because they had every kind of song and every kind of honor, and you know, it seemed like overdone to me.
So I think we'll talk about one more thing and then get to the content, because I know that you put together an unreal amount of content, which we'll never get to. But the halftime show, I for one, I think it's important. Everybody will be talking about it. They'll either be talking about the flag or they'll be talking about the halftime show. I happen to love it. I thought she's so great at being herself and her music and the way that she goes about her music career. Like, she hasn't posted or hasn't released an album in 7 years or all these crazy things. And she didn't overdo it for me. Like, this is how her music was so good. She was already pregnant. The stage was great. I didn't need the costume changes and everything. I think it goes over the top, takes away from the music. I could hear it. We were jamming. The sights was amazing. The fireworks. So I really enjoyed it. Lori, I would love to get your take.
I'll give you my quick input. The best national anthem I've heard in a long time.
I loved it. I agree.
Yeah. No, I thought, listen, I loved the part, you know, all the coming up and coming down. I thought that was really cool. I love Rihanna. So, I thought, I agree with Jake. It was simple. It was like last year, there was so much, all these boxes and all this stuff going on. Yeah. It was kind of hard to, really like pay attention to any one thing. The focus was on Rihanna. Right. And the dancing I thought was great. So
the focus might have been on Rihanna, but probably every person watching was going, is she pregnant?
Well, that's what I thought. Mike said, well, she just had a baby a year ago. I'm like, yeah, but that belly should not be there for a year ago.
She is pregnant with her second kid.
Which I think everybody Googled two things. Is Rihanna pregnant? And then got no answer, right? Because no one had any clue. And then was like, when did she have the baby? Because everyone was like, I know she just had it, but when? And when everyone saw it was in May, they were like, oh, she's probably pregnant again.
Incredible. So no better way to motivational music today than to shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright like a diamond. Fine light in the beautiful sea. I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You were shooting stars. Diamonds in the sky. I knew that we could come right away. At first sight, I felt the energy of some rain. I saw the light inside your eyes. Tonight, you and I. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Eye to eye, so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky.
So here's a little known fact. We always like to bring business facts to the show. Nobody gets paid for halftime. Nobody. Last year, the year before, whatever the precedent is, they get Apple to sponsor halftime. Apple paid $50 million to sponsor it. 15 million of that 50 went to do that production, and the artist gets nothing. Statistically, everybody who has done that performance, their streams, their sales, their everything has gone through the roof, because obviously it's one of the most.
Where's the other 35 million?
Straight to Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell.
Straight to Roger Goodell's pocket.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I will say though, talking of last year's halftime show, they give them a marketing budget, but the artists last year took it upon themselves to spend an extra $7 million of their own money to put on a show. So I don't know how much input Rihanna had this year, but I thought it was still great.
I thought, so I don't want to discount that stage. It was the coolest thing ever. So she was suspended in the air, and those dancers
started rocking a little bit at the end. And I was like, oh, okay. Right. I was like, oh God.
She didn't flinch.
Right. I was like, this would be a really bad storyline for all of us.
Yeah, especially pregnant. Okay. So enough football today, enough entertainment today. I want to talk about something, a word, a phrase you may not know, and that phrase is title inflation. So the idea that titles are on the rise. Now, I have always been a fan of cool titles, but there's a whole debate going on that while money is inflating, so are titles, and it's being used as a way to either hang on to people or not pay them as much. There's this whole dialogue. Jake, what is your title?
Oh, well, I have two. So for you, that just stumped me there. I thought we were going to Lori first. On the ball, I am the game plan coordinator. And then for our get on the ball, I am the director of success.
Which is super cool. Shay, jump in for a second. Tell everybody your title if they don't know it.
If you don't know it, I feel bad for you. Director of MIH, which is making it happen.
So Shay's been with us 9 years. When he came on board, I created that title with the understanding that I wanted people to know that his responsibility was to make it happen. So 9 years ago, that was like an outlier. Lori, what's your thoughts on titles, money? Now they're making up shit, putting stuff together. I mean, it's crazy.
The first thing I wanted to say is I'm not sure that this is something new. I mean, I remember being back in the corporate world many years ago, and you know what? Titles were important to us then too, right? It's a sign of moving up. It's a sign of success. I've done well. I get a new title. Sometimes, yes, often there's some money that goes with that. But, and I think especially today, especially the younger people, but I don't just think it's them. If we're doing a good job, we want that recognition. A title is one way of giving that recognition. We've created a hierarchy of titles because in order for someone to go from a manager level to a director level, there's nothing in between. And it could take years for that director to leave. So we created the senior manager level. It gives them additional opportunities. It gives them a little bit title, gives them a little bit more money. So I don't think there's anything wrong with good titles. And I love that you guys are so creative.
What I would like to get your thoughts on in the industry optics, of like handing a title to somebody so that they are recognized in the marketplace as a president or as a CEO. And do you guys see benefit in that? Do you think it's worse for the person if they don't actually represent that position? You know what I mean? So kind of walking that line.
Well, let me comment. So let's, go backwards to when Mark was joining the company. And I said, I want to make you president of the company. You're going to be running the company. You will learn more as you go. But here's the thing that makes a difference. From the outside in, people respect you differently based on your title. He could be, vice president. That's not the president. Lori, you're the CEO. That's where the buck stops. And so, I think that there's a aspirational part of titling that puts people in a place that says, okay, cool. I was never CEO. I didn't like that. My title is principal thinker. I'm principal of the company. I'm responsible of thinking. And when I did that 20 years ago, people were like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're the CEO, be the CEO. Well, sometimes I didn't want to be the CEO, Lori.
That's true sometimes. I also think there's another piece to this. I also think titles can put you at different tables.
Yes.
It isn't just about making that call and saying, hey, I'm the CEO, or I'm the director, or I'm this, or I'm the chief operating officer, or whatever. It also allows you into certain circles and tables, whether it's something like Vistage, or it's the Brown Workshop, or right. It puts you at the table with that level of people. So I think, I'm all about titles. I think it's important. I think it's, but
I don't think you should strive for titles. Like, I think from my generation, the question was like, well, are you like a director yet? Or are you this? And what title are you going for? And what was your starting salary? And those are the questions that are the important questions for people at my age. And I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by a lot of very distinguished CEOs and career people. And they're like, don't do that. It'll leave you, wanting to be more fulfilled with the people. And I don't think there's enough teaching of that happening to the young generation.
We love Adam Grant. Adam Grant did a study and found that giving employees the chance to craft their own titles led to less burnout. The titles adopted by some of the employees he spoke to was Minister of Dollars and Cents, Goddess of Greetings. Now, I'll tell you, for me, early on in the phone business, the person that answered the phone was Director of First Impressions. We made that person feel better than, let me talk to the operator or the,
or the receptionist.
Right. Which to me was demeaning. So you can fulfill people, make them more proud of what they do, but this whole idea backfires when you go into the banking business where everybody's a vice president. So here's where I want to take this conversation. Here's where it makes a difference. Most people in LinkedIn, right under their name, put their title, right? And the title lives underneath in their employment history. You don't need it there. The place underneath is a tagline. That's where, if you choose to be creative, it stops the boom. All of a sudden, wow, that's pretty cool. That's creative. I want to talk more to this person than if you just Google vice president. Boom.
Well, I called it the Yellow Brick Road. I called my page the Yellow Brick Road. Like, keep following me down this Yellow Brick Road if you haven't hit connect yet, because you're going to find a lot more information along the way. So if your tagline is impressive and it looks like an impressive profile, they'll click on it. Then they'll see your work history. They'll see your content. They'll see your connections. You want them to see everything you're putting out. So something that drives them, intrigues them, gets them to click on your name.
And here's the final piece of this. Jake, who created your title?
I did.
You did. Shay, who created your title?
Me. I saw it on Shark Tank and I stole it.
Right. So, empower people to create their own suit and let them jump in and live in that suit.
Is this a bad time to ask for a VP title, or?
It's got to be some creative after that, Jake.
Be anything you want. So, speak the truth, man. This is what it's all about. What a great Monday. It is great to be back in my routine. It's unbelievable the great night's sleep I had last night. Ready to kick some ass today. I'm ready to get down to business. How about you guys?
Can't wait.
Ready.
Let's go.
Off and running.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.